Have you ever had the uncomfortable thought that you might not actually be in the right career anymore? You're just too deep in to admit it. That is a scary thought, especially when the paycheck is decent, your identity is tied to the work, and from the outside, your life may look completely fine. But deep down, something feels off. Maybe the work drains you. Maybe you are good at it, but you no longer care. Maybe Sunday anxiety starts showing up on Friday night. Or maybe the hardest part is this: you cannot tell whether you need a better job or a different career altogether. Hi, I'm Michael Akbar with Yes Career Coaching. In this video, you will learn how to know when it's time to change jobs, how to tell the difference between a job problem and a career problem, and how to think through a possible change without making a reckless move. And if you're already feeling that quiet panic that you may be staying too long in the wrong thing, schedule a consultation with Yes Career Coaching through the link below. That conversation can save you months or even years of confusion. Let's get into it. One of the biggest career mistakes smart professionals make is confusing comfort with fit. Comfort feels safe. Fit feels alive. And those are not the same thing. A lot of people say because the situation is familiar, the money is acceptable, and the risk of change feels bigger than the cost of staying. But that cost adds up. It shows up in your energy, your confidence, your health, your relationships, your motivation, your sense of who you are. And here is what makes this so dangerous. Comfort rarely feels dramatic. It just quietly dulls you over time. This is why people stay stuck for years, not because they're lazy, not because they are weak, but because the situation is just tolerable, enough to delay action. In my experience, many professionals get trapped in one of three patterns. The first is the golden handcuff trap. The pay is strong, the benefits are solid. On paper, leaving looks irresponsible, but the work itself feels deadening. Maybe you are well compensated, but you are emotionally flat or constantly drained. The second is a social trap. You genuinely like your team. You do not want to disappoint people. You may even feel loyal to your manager or coworkers, but the work no longer stretches you or means much to you. The third is the mastery trap. You stay because you are good at what you do, maybe very good. People rely on you. You have built competence and credibility, but the part that used to feel meaningful is gone. You're operating from skill, not from interest. And that can be one of the hardest traps to leave because the world keeps rewarding you for something you no longer want. So how do you know when it is really time to move on? There are usually signals. Not one dramatic signal, a pattern. Maybe you dread the work more often than not. Maybe you keep venting about the same problems, but nothing changes. Maybe you feel strangely disconnected from results you used to care about. Maybe your wins no longer feel like wins. Or maybe you keep fantasizing about leaving, but then talking yourself out of it because timing never feels perfect. Here's another sign people miss. You have stopped feeling proud when you talk about your work. You can still explain it, you can still perform it, but the pride is gone. That matters because long-term career health is not just about whether you can do the job. It is also about whether the job still feels aligned with the person you are becoming. Now, here is one of the most important distinctions to make. Is this a job problem or a career problem? Those are not the same. And if you get that wrong, you can make a move that changes nothing. So ask yourself this: if you could take your exact same role to a different company with a better boss, better culture, and a better pay, would you feel relieved and re-energized? If the answer is yes, you probably have a job problem. But if the thought of doing the same core work anywhere still makes you feel heavy, bored, or quietly miserable, that is much more likely a career problem. That question is powerful because it cuts through a lot of noise. Some people do not need a full reinvention. They need a better environment. Others keep thinking a new company will solve the issue, when the deeper truth is that they have outgrown the work itself. And if that is you, no new logo on your email signature is going to fix the core mismatch. Now, let's talk about fear, because fear is usually what keeps people frozen. People fear starting over. They fear losing income. They fear looking foolish after working so hard to build credibility in one direction. They fear becoming a beginner again. They fear disappointing people. They fear letting go of the identity they have built. All of that is real, but most of it needs to be reframed. You are not starting over. You are starting with experience. That is a huge difference. You're not empty-handed. You're carrying judgment, communication skills, professional maturity, pattern recognition, work ethic, and transferable strengths into the next chapter. And yes, sometimes there is a temporary pay dip in a transition. But in the right move, that dip can be an investment, not a defeat. A short-term step sideways or slightly down can create a much higher long-term ceiling if it gets you into the work that actually fits your strength and energizes you enough to excel. Another thing to remember is this: staying in the wrong lane has a cost too. People tend to calculate the risk of leaving very carefully, but they almost never calculate the cost of staying. What are you losing in growth, income ceiling, momentum, health, self-respect, and time by staying something that no longer fits? That is a real cost, and it is often far bigger than people admit. So what should you do before making a move? First, define what you want next with constraints, not vague wishes. Real constraints. What kind of work do you want to do more of? What kind of problems do you want to solve? What kind of people do you want to work with? What level of pay do you need? What kind of lifestyle do you want your work to support? What do you know you do not want anymore? This matters because too many people leave something painful without getting clear on what they are moving toward. That creates panic and poor decisions. Second, test before you leap. Do not make a major career pivot based on only fantasy. Talk to people in the roles you are considering. Do informational interviews. Take on small projects. Volunteer strategically. Consult, shadow, read job descriptions. Look for patterns. Put your assumptions in contact with reality. This is one of the smartest ways to reduce risk. It gives you real-world data and helps you build confidence. It also helps you build a transition story, which is critical. You do not want to sound confused when you explain your pivot. You want to sound clear, thoughtful, and intentional. That comes from doing the work before the leap, not after. And here is something else that can help. Pay close attention to envy, not destructive envy, informative envy. When you see someone else's role, project, or career path and feel a spark of jealousy, ask yourself why. Often that emotion is pointing towards something you want but have not fully admitted to yourself yet. It is not always the answer, but it can be a clue. Now, if you decide the time is right, do the transition well, leave professionally, protect your reputation, maintain your relationships, keep your references. Do not let frustration sabotage your exit. The people you leave behind may matter more to your future than you realize. A strong transition is not just about what you are leaving, it is also about preserving momentum from where you are going to. And I want to leave you with one final idea, because this may be the most important one in the whole video. The right career moves does not always begin with certainty. Often it begins with honesty. Honesty that something is off. Honesty that your current work no longer fits who you are. Honesty that staying comfortable may actually be the riskier move. You do not need to have your whole future figured out before you start asking better questions, but you do need to stop numbing yourself with the idea that things will somehow magically feel better later if nothing meaningful changes. So if you have been wondering how to know when it's time to change jobs, here's the real answer. It is time to take the question seriously when the dissatisfaction is persistent. The work no longer fits. The same problems keep repeating, and the idea of doing this for years longer feels heavier than the idea of change. That does not mean quit tomorrow. It means stop dismissing what you already know. Start diagnosing it honestly. Start exploring strategically. Start building the next move with intention. And if you want help sorting out whether you need a better job, a different career, or a smarter transition strategy, Yes Career Coaching can help. Schedule a consultation through the link in the description, and we will help you get clear on your next move, build a strategy around it, and move forward with more confidence and less guesswork. And if this video helped you, subscribe for more practical guidance on career change, career growth, and getting unstuck professionally. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.